right, folks, we got another Monday preview. We've got three matchups this upcoming week. First off, we got a home game against the Winnipeg Jets. Then the boys are on the road to the Edmonton Oilers, and then wrapping up, we face off against the Seattle Kraken away in Seattle. Krusty and I will also be at that game in Seattle. Very excited. It's my first time being in Seattle. I think Krusty's first time being in Seattle too. Not sure, but it's my first time, so I'm very, very excited because I've heard nothing but great things about the city, and also the arena is supposed to be fantastic. But let's get into it. So first off, like I said, we got the Winnipeg Jets. Jonathan Toews coming back to the United Center once again. At the time of recording, Winnipeg is sitting 6th out of 8th in the Central. Their last 10 are 5-3-2. Injured reserve, you've got Barron, Miller, Nemestikov, Niederreiter all out on day-to-day. No back-to-back for the Chicago Blackhawks as well as the Winnipeg Jets. I think Winnipeg played last night. So Winnipeg had played Saturday, and then the game is on Tuesday, and then we play today, which is Sunday at the time of recording, and then both teams will play on Tuesday. So both teams have got some rest in between the last game and this upcoming game. Notable forwards, you've got Scheifele, Kyle Connor, Jonathan Toews, Perfetti, Lowry. Defensemen, you've got Morrissey, Sandberg, and Fleury. And then goaltending tandem is Connor Hellebuck and Eric Comrie. This one, like Krusty said last week, we're getting into the last 15 games, so everything is kind of just a little weird. But we've won some against Winnipeg, we've lost some against Winnipeg. I think the main thing that we can take away from last matchup against the Winnipeg Jets going into this game is the game is a full 60 minutes. We've seen quite a few games against Winnipeg where they have a lead until the very end. They play well until the very end. So it's kind of just overall just finishing everything a little bit stronger against Winnipeg, because it seems like Winnipeg does have our number at the end and has been able to capitalize on it. So kind of just playing through the whole game, which is a lot on a lot of these younger kids, because we've got new additions like Frendel, Boisvert. But I think that's kind of the big thing to take away going into Winnipeg, because we've seen that a couple of times where it's good until a point. Next up, we've got the Edmonton Oilers. Like I said, we play Winnipeg at home and then Edmonton's away at the Rogers Place. At the time of recording, Edmonton is sitting 2nd out of 8th in the Pacific. Their last 10 are 6-3-1. Injured reserve, you got Trent Frederick and Colton Dach out on day-to-day. Leon Draisaitl's on week-to-week, and then Matthias Janmark is just out for the season. There's no back-to-back for either of these two teams. Both Chicago and Edmonton will play their prior game on Tuesday, and then we'll have this matchup on Thursday. So both teams have a day of rest in between. Big thing with the Edmonton Oilers since the last time we faced off against them is they have our penalty kill. They essentially stole our penalty kill with Jason Dickinson and Connor Murphy, and also Colton Dach, but Colton's hurt. So that's a huge thing for Edmonton. Forwards, you're looking at McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, and then Roslovic. Defenseman, Evan Bouchard has been having quite a good season, as well as Darnell Nurse. And then goaltending tandem is the most interesting aspect of the Edmonton Oilers game, in my opinion, and kind of the thing that they've been struggling with since Stan and Kyle Dubas made the trade. And that is, you've got Connor Ingram versus Tristan Jarry. It seems, though, that Connor Ingram has been playing fairly well for them, which is great, because I know Ingram has had some struggles in the past, but he seems to be, doing well within the Oilers system. So I would imagine maybe Ingram's in it, if not Jarry. Again, this is going to be a rough one, because like we said, we're getting into the last 15 games. March was kind of a mess with the condensed schedule. A lot of pressure on these younger kids. Not only ones who, this is their first season, But, even some younger ones where it's like maybe this is like their second or first, like 1.5 seasons under their belt, it's still a lot with the condensed schedule and then going up against the Edmonton Oilers. It'll definitely be a little less with Draisaitl not there, but it's still going to be a lot on the defenseman in terms of being able to defend in front of some of these very, very powerful forwards that Edmonton has. And then on the flip side with the forwards, pucks on net. Pucks on net, pucks on net, pucks on the other guy's net. And then finally, we are going to round off with the Seattle Kraken. They play on Saturday in Seattle. At the time of recording, Seattle Kraken is sitting 5th out of 8th in the Pacific. Their last 10 are 3-5-2. Injured reserve, you've got Schwartz, Winterton, and Wright all out on day today. Again, neither team is going to have a back-to-back. Both play on Thursday and then a break on Friday, and then they will play on Saturday. Notable forwards is Matty Beniers, Berkeley Catton, Kaapo Kakko, and Eeli Tolvanen. And then defensemen, Brandon Montour, Brian Lindgren. Then goaltending tandem is going to be Joey Daccord and Philip Grubauer. Joey Daccord has been having quite a good year for the Seattle Kraken, in my opinion. They had quite a bit of a skid in March coming off of that Olympic break, but, so have we. But they've had quite a skid. A lot of pucks going into their own net, very high scoring on the other team's end. Another thing kind of similar with the Winnipeg Jets matchup, at least personally, I have never seen a team that can just outpatient the other team like the Seattle Kraken. So it's not over until the final buzzer at the end of the third for the Seattle Kraken. I think the biggest thing is just don't get comfortable. Even if the Hawks have a lead, just don't get comfortable. Don't get set in your ways. Don't take the foot off the gas. Because the Seattle Kraken are very good. If they're firing on all cylinders, they're very good at just waiting for the opposing team to make a mistake and then, fully being able to capitalize on it. So it should be an interesting matchup. Again, like I said, Krusty and I will be there in Seattle for that game. I'm really hoping they pull out a win because Krusty was in the East Coast last week and it was just rough for him against Philly and against the Rangers. But yeah, so we've got Winnipeg on Tuesday, Edmonton on Thursday, and then wrapping up, we've got Seattle on Saturday.